The Knots Company welcomes you back to Focus on Automation, where we explore and celebrate advances that empower manufacturing. Welcome back to Focus on Automation. I'm your host, Todd Youngblood. Thank you to our sponsor, The Knots Company. They provide technology, products, integration, machine building, and other services for increasing the performance, productivity, and profitability of manufacturing enterprises. Today's topic is signal technology, or better said, intelligent signal technology. And to help us understand what that's all about, I'm joined by Mr. Peter Gasparini. He's sales manager for new business and market development for Werma USA. Peter, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Todd. I'm excited.
Well, I hope you remain excited as we continue the conversation. To get us started here, Peter, tell us a little bit about yourself and your background and how you wound up with Werma.
Sure, I appreciate that. I had started my own business, and that wasn't so successful. But then a headhunter had found me, and they were looking to expand their regional sales and business development presence in the Mid-Atlantic in New England, and I fit the bill. I've been working with engineers and manufacturing companies for about 30 years now, including helping set up a manufacturing joint venture in Vietnam, as well as working with a subsidiary in China that manufactured all of our engineering designs here stateside back in the 80s and 90s. And I'm very excited about Werma because they address two key areas that are growing worldwide. And one is monitoring processes and conditions, and the other is safety and signaling within our factories and order fulfillment distribution centers.
Give us a 50,000 foot overview of Werma. What's the organization all about? You've hinted at it a little bit with what you just said.
Werma is a German-based engineering and manufacturing firm. We've been in business for just about 70 years now. We're based in southern Germany. We private label our signaling technology, optical, audible, stack lights and beacons, to large OEM companies such as Siemens, ABB, Phoenix Contact, Rital, etc. And then we come to market with the Werma brand through our 8 subsidiaries. I work for the US-based subsidiary in Norcross, Georgia, and our preferred key distributors.
Now, Peter, you've referred to signaling technology. Obviously, that's the product that Werma is bringing to market. And you also talked about manufacturing processes, or referred to them. Talk a little bit about the kind of problems when you walk into a manufacturing facility and you see problem A, B, or C. Which of those talk about the A, B's, or C's that make you light up and say you could do something in here to help optimize that process?
Most of our signaling technology is brought to market through partnership and specification of the signal onto a piece of machinery, an OEM machinery or an automation integration conveyor type of company. So when I walk into a factory that is designing machinery, often what drives their requirements are safety and visual alerts. When I get to a factory and I see that some of the signaling may not be working properly, I immediately inquire with the production supervisors or the operator of that piece of equipment and ask them about, what would be helpful to them to learn about the machinery visually, because the machinery is very complex, and a visual signal, as we've evolved, visual signals are much more important to us than reading, let's say. So you could look at something and you immediately understand what is happening. So the ability to convey a signal visually, whether with a flashing light, a rotating beacon, an audible alarm, immediately calls people to action, helps provide safe environments in manufacturing. And that can go anywhere. That can go, you see a signal at a garage door where a truck is backing up. Is it time for me to go? Time for me to leave? There's signaling at the ports of New York where they have automation and they unload container ships with a joystick about a half a mile away and remote cranes, but the trucks that back under those cranes are all signaled, time to back up, time to leave, and they use our signaling technology. So signaling technology is not only in the factory, it's all around us every day. Signals are very important. From the end user perspective, when I walk into a factory that is manufacturing an end product or fulfilling orders and distribution, such as we see more and more of, a la, Amazon, I look around and I see, is there efficiencies that can be achieved on a production line? Is my machine running? How many am I making? Is it of quality that generates shippable revenue? These types of critical conditions need to be monitored with data collected and timely alerts. And our primary signaling technology can be upgraded with RF transmitters that convey the critical conditions and time and date stamp the data and allow companies to basically do more with less and become more efficient. So there's the end user manufacturing side of the business, and then there's the machinery side of the business, where the machine comes with a light stack or a beacon on it. And the manufacturing side, I need to do more with less. I need to become more efficient.
I got to back you up a little bit, Peter. You just shared a whole ton of insight just there. Now, when you talked about signaling with regard to safety, that's very easy for me to get my head around it. The truck's backing up or the crane's lowering the boom. Let's have a flashing red light and a siren so that I know something's coming down. The safety part makes a lot of sense. You also mentioned quality. Talk a little bit more about how Werma's signaling technology is going to have an impact on the quality of the whatever it is I'm manufacturing.
Good question. Our signaling technology is triggered through voltage signals, and we run the gambit from 5 volts to 230 volts AC, 120 volt AC, 24 volt DC seems to be the primary voltage because it's a safe voltage and it's not going to kill someone in a factory. And these voltages and the signals, typically 24 volt in the factories, they trigger an output, turn a red light on, turn a green light on. And many of our customers use very high-end sensors. Some are vision sensors, some are proximity sensors, temperature, humidity, weight sensors. So if a product is being manufactured and companies are using a vision sensor, is this a good product? Is this a bad product? We can capture that signal. We can transmit that signal wirelessly. We can count that signal. And we could say, this is shippable revenue. This is not shippable revenue. A lot of companies want to understand how much wastage there is. What's the percentage of quality product that's coming off this line?
Okay, so I get that. So if I have a quality issue and I have some vision sensor on the line, I can set off an alarm, set off a signal that says, "Hey, I've got a quality problem," instead of letting the line run for another 5-10 minutes, 2-3 hours. And you also, I'm trying to get my head around. I think I understand. I just want to talk it through out loud. You talked about signaling electronically, so I could have an assembly line, for example, that does not have a human operator in close proximity. And so I could transmit something, to the next building or across town, literally, that says, "Hey, here's an alert. Here's a problem. There's a quality issue's been detected." Is what I'm saying sensible? Is that what you're doing or could do?
Absolutely. We have several clients that run either lights out or semi lights out. And when a process there's an unplanned stoppage or a failed product, based upon the signal, whatever is a critical condition, the machine stopped, no one's around, we capture that information and we can send a text message to whoever's on call that weekend to come into the factory and to do something. You can, as long as there's an RF wireless network, and this is not Wi-Fi, our process optimization solutions operate on the lower ISM band, the industrial scientific medical band, at 915 megahertz. It's a very robust mesh network where you can go out to over 900 meters. And as long as you are on a network and you capture that information, you could then send emails and text messages based upon the conditions and the processes that you're monitoring. So to your question, could someone in another building be alerted? Absolutely. How do you want to alert them? I can flash a light in another building. I could send an email, a text. I could pop something up on their computer saying, hey, the line in building B is down.
Okay. I mean, we just made a transformational leap from flashing a light on the factory floor from what you just talked about there. Could you share a specific example of that kind of an application?
Sure. There's a medical manufacturer in central Pennsylvania that runs two highly automated production lines that make inserts for, I believe, syringes. And they were very busy during the recent pandemic. And
no doubt.
They were. And over the weekends, they try to output 48 hours of production without anybody in the facility. They are monitoring, is the machine running? How many am I making? And they also have compressors that feed this machine. If the compressor goes down, the line goes down. We send a notification to our wireless network. Part of our smart monitor solution, we provide a free database. Our business model is upside down in that we provide a free software application, and our clients make a one-time investment, which often provides a swift payback in the RF transmitter, receiver, and the stack lights. If someone is there to view the signal, you use the stack lights. If someone is not there, then we send an alert. And they were often not producing the amount of product that they wanted in their lights out application because the compressor would go down, the machine would be out of material, whatever other reason they were monitoring, they would then send the alert. And someone within 15 or 20 minutes of the factory would then be called to the factory to fix the unplanned stoppage and get the automated line back into production and then go home.
Interesting. You triggered another question as you were talking through that example, Peter, and you mentioned data collection earlier. And I mean, no matter what piece of equipment we're talking about it these days, everything is doing data collection. I'm trying to get my head around what's different or what's more valuable about the data that's being collected by the Werma systems versus what I've already got on different parts of my production line.
Sure. First of all, a good point, Todd. Any company that is not monitoring critical processes and collecting data will probably be out of business. It will be out of business within 3 to 5 years, or will be acquired and then instructed, or data collection will be implemented. So as our friend Dr. Deming said, in God we trust, everyone else bring data. So in terms of data, our smart monitor and andon speed solutions at Werma, it is a lightweight, very low friction way to get started and moving into Industry 4.0, the industrial Internet of Things, whatever, pick your moniker. But to me and to our customers, what that means is I have a sensor, I have a piece of critical information, I need to transmit that data, I need to collect that data, I need to output a report and monitor my uptime. Let's face it, most factories and production facilities want to know, is my machine available and running? How many am I making? Is it of quality that generates shippable revenue? With those three key pieces of data, which you can collect with our system, they often then calculate what is my overall equipment effectiveness. So It's a lightweight way of Smart Monitor is a lightweight solution. It's easy to get started. Most factories already have a stack light or a 24-volt signal, and you can use our transmitter immediately to quickly begin collecting data. Now, there are a lot of large solutions out there, a lot of end-to-end, high-end SCADA solutions. We work well with them. We have many customers that use our solution and this higher-end solution, which may cost hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. And for example, at Stryker Orthopedics, they use our solution on 110 machines. They focus on uptime because their manufacturing process is so well honed that almost 100% of what comes out of that line is shippable revenue. They export the data they collect with our solution and pull it into Microsoft's Power BI for custom dashboards for their senior managers. So we're a lightweight solution with Smart Monitor to get started and begin collecting data and monitoring critical processes.
Along those lines, Peter, talk a little bit about systems integration and how you get that done. A lot of times you have 5, 6, 7 different systems from who knows how many different manufacturers, and you got to plug your stuff into it and make it work. I'll make air quotes, make it work seamlessly. Talk a little bit about how you get that done. What kind of support do you provide?
That's a good question. Our solution is so simple that it is a standalone solution. We are not software engineers, and we do not integrate in the sense that you would imagine, a Microsoft Office 365 integration that includes Excel and Outlook. It's not like that. Our solution is a Windows-based solution that then can run on its own. But what we do is one of our free updates is we allow our clients to export the data using an XML format, which is a standardized format, and then is easily brought in by our customers team into the higher level applications or pulled up into the cloud. So it's a standalone system. We don't do any software integration. The integration that we would do is we would help guide them as to where do you get the 24-volt signal? Oh, you already have a stack light? What does red, green, yellow, blue mean to you? Blue means call for maintenance. Red means unplanned stoppage. Yellow means, I'm awaiting instructions. Green means I'm producing product and generating revenue. We take our free software and you can write down whatever your natural language is for that factory to convert those signals.
Talk a little bit about the financial implications of this intelligent signaling that Werma brings to bear. What kind of payback, what kind of ROI? Talk to me about the money.
Good question. It is, I can tell you this, we've not lost any business due to someone saying, oh, this is too expensive, right? Because
I love that kind of talk.
Well, typically, if someone starts to talk like that with us, well, let me back up. So our clients budget approximately $1,200 per machine for an implementation of one transmitter on a machine. And you can connect up to 50 transmitters to one of our Ethernet wireless receivers. And so our clients, they may invest 25, 30, say they hook up 40 machines and it's $50,000. By improving their calls for action, reducing their downtime, and most of our clients run at least one shift, 5, 6 days a week. Many of them run 2 shifts. All you have to do is improve uptime by an hour on each machine over a period of a week. And within a few months, you have a swift payback period. So when I go down the path of, tell me about how much revenue you generate in 1 hour from these 25 machines, and they tell me what is actually shippable revenue versus waste. And by the time we get halfway through figuring out the math, they begin to see, okay, I see how quickly we can recoup our investment and get a return. So it's often I've had very few people go down that path with me, but once we do, the path is halted because they see the simplicity and the quick payback.
Folks out in the factory have to love that. I mean, I've gotten so used to it in my own mind, looking at a payback of, 2 or 3 years is pretty fantastic. You're talking about maybe 2 or 3 months.
It could be that short. It could take, 8 to 12 months. We are in a large 1,000,000 square foot order fulfillment distribution center. We have an NDA with this client in Tennessee, and they have 570 transmitters. It's a highly automated warehouse distribution center on one side. The other side, it's actually packing stations. So we're also on the book in Amazon Europe, but at this particular customer, humans still pack a lot of our orders, right? So they need material replenishment. There's all kinds of automated mobile robots or automated ground vehicles that bring the material out, the merchandise, but a human still packs it and puts it through the tape machine or puts it on a line that automatically tapes it and labels it and scans it. They need a call for action. And if you can't automate the signal, we offer what's called a smart box, which is an AC powered 4-button smart box that has 6 modes of logic, and you can make 8 different calls for action or document 8 different critical pieces of information. And just this month, we're turning that into a wireless box, and we're bringing that out over the next 2 months. It's called And-On Wireless. It has a call and an acknowledgement. So I need something, I need a forklift, I need material. The recipient can acknowledge it with their wireless button box. I hear you, I'm forklift number 4, and I'm on my way. I'm in the material room. You need more of a product or of a packaging material. I confirm I got your request. I'm on my way.
Very cool. And you just touched on the one more thing I want to get a little bit of your perspective on, and you did just touch on it now, and that's that pull the crystal ball out of your desk drawer there, Peter, and look out over the next 3 to 5 years. What are we going to see coming at us with regard to this intelligent signaling technology?
That's a good question. If I really knew the future, we'd head to the track together, right?
You have a stock tip for me?
Yeah, right. Well, we're definitely going to see more process monitoring and data collection. We're definitely going to see more people asked to do more with less. I know it's shocking, but there is still gambling in Las Vegas. We're going to be asked to do more with less. Some of the secular trends that I see and I read about, the McKinsey reports that I read a year or so ago, a month before the pandemic, 12% of all US retail sales were processed as e-commerce and online. That was February of 2020. By May of 2020, that almost doubled to 21, 22%. Yep. I haven't looked at it lately, but just imagine that. That's less than 25% of all retail sales being processed online. Most people would think that most retail sales are already processed online. You drive up and down any highway or major intermodal airport and train port, and you see warehousing and order fulfillment distribution centers and third-party logistics companies popping up everywhere. Now, inside, they need conveyors, they need automated equipment, they need packaging technology, they need palletizers. They also need humans who can operate this equipment. They need humans who could help fulfill these orders. They need humans who can monitor these processes, generate reports from our type of product, and analyze and identify areas for improvement. So I see a shift towards the deployment of more technology. I expect higher paying, higher level jobs for our country and the world. And I also see that the trend is not letting up, right? But robots, that said, robots are not taking over the world either, right?
Yeah, not yet.
Yeah.
interesting insight. Peter Gasparini, sales manager for new business and market development for Werma USA. Thanks for taking your time and sharing all these insights. It's a heck of an interesting, exciting story. Appreciate it.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you for your time, Todd.
That wraps today's episode. On behalf of my guest, Peter Gasparini, and our sponsor, the Knots Company, I'm Todd Youngblood. Talk to you again soon.